Okay, today we're talking remote controls for remote shooting, and we're going to take a look at the JJC wireless remote control. So why do you need a remote for shooting? Well, there's multiple use case scenarios for it. Either A, wireless shutter for when you're taking photos, and say you're taking group shots and you don't want to set the self timer and try to run and get yourself in the position. I know every time that I get a family photo, I'm either like this or one leg's off to the side, or I'm out of breath because I'm old and fat. But really for me, the best use case scenario for it is while making these videos. So since I'm a solo content creator on this channel, I have to physically, walk over, start recording, stop recording, all that kind of stuff. Also, you may see in my video and other videos that while somebody's talking, they may be looking this way and then suddenly they're back looking at the camera again, and that's just called a jump cut. So prime example, if I needed to take a break or I needed a sip of water or sip of coffee while I'm recording, I would have to remember how I'm facing the camera, where my feet are, and everything like that. Do what I have to do and try to come back and stand in that same exact way before starting to record again or before beginning to talk again. Obviously, you can imagine that is not as easy as it may seem, especially since I stand while I'm doing videos. It's not like I'm sitting in one spot. So I'll often find myself taking long pauses, trying to remember where I was at, where my hands were, which way I was looking, were my hands out, were they in, were they down, were they up, just to try to make those transitions look as smooth as possible, or those cuts, I should say, look as smooth as possible. So as you can imagine, that leaves a lot of dead space that has to be cut out from the videos. So for me, that's where something like this JJC remote comes into play. So let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy. Very simple control. We've got a total of 5 buttons on there. We have some zoom buttons, your main center button, which is a half press and a full press for autofocus. Then you have AF on and custom one, which is going to be whatever the custom one is on your camera. Okay, then on the side we have a few toggle switches. We have our lock unlock, and then we have a zoom focus, and all that's going to do is just switch what your little buttons here do to whether or not it's zooming your camera or focusing your camera. And then you just have a movie and still slide here. Now this doesn't change what the camera is set to, so whatever the camera is set to, that is what that switch is control. Okay, and then this whole thing is powered by a 2032 battery. So we'll just go ahead and pop that bad boy in there, and then we'll get this connected up to the camera. Okay, so the way that we pair this to the camera is we are going to hold down this T and this power button. Say it takes about 7 seconds. All right, it started flashing. Okay, once we got it flashing, we're going to go to our Bluetooth, or we're going to go into our settings. We'll go down here to the little globe, Bluetooth. Make sure our Bluetooth function is set to on. Pairing. Once you're at this screen, that's when we'll hit that T and that power button. And now it's going to ask us if we want to allow pairing to the BTR-S1. We do. It's connecting. Okay, paired. So now if I go back to the menu screen, if I hit the button here, it will start recording and stop recording. So again, I'm going to start recording here, and I'll hit this button and you'll see that the recording stops. And now if I wanted to do the digital zoom, I'll just press these buttons here, and you can see that it will zoom in and out. And if it's switched to focus mode on the side, it will not do anything. And again, if I move to movie or still, it's still going to stay with the whatever the camera is set to.